The Buddha once said that he who sits alone, lies down alone, walks alone in diligent practice, and alone tames himself, should find delight in living in the forest. Living alone, being alone, can feel frightening for many people today. In our modern society, a successful life, a happier life, a meaningful life is often portrayed as one filled with people, with noise, with possessions. But there is a reason why nearly all spiritual traditions and paths revere solitude. They honor the quiet life, the disciplined solitude, as a sacred opportunity for inner transformation. That's why nearly every great spiritual leader chose to retreat from the noise, from the distractions, from the chaos of the world, and find peace in silence, far from society's hustle. They went to forests, caves, mountaintops, or remote dwellings in search of something the world could never offer: liberation. The same is true for the Supreme Buddha. Before his enlightenment, he lived as a prince in a royal palace, surrounded by comfort and pleasure. He was immersed in sensual delight. But over time, he realized that indulging in pleasures could not help him find what his heart truly sought. So he made a radical choice. He left his palace and went into the wilderness, moving from one forest to another, meditating in search of that deeper peace, the ultimate peace beyond craving. Living alone, then, can be a blessing. It becomes a blessing when you learn to turn it into one. But it can also become a curse, depending on how you approach it. That's why many people today fear being alone. They don't know what to do with themselves in silence. I hear it often. People come to me and say, "I'm living alone, but I feel so lonely. So many dark, negative thoughts come into my mind. What should I do?" This is what happens when loneliness is misunderstood. When solitude is viewed as emptiness, it turns bitter. But everything depends on how you think and how you use your time. Let me share a story that shows the power of solitude when used wisely. Before his enlightenment, Prince Siddhartha left his luxurious life and entered the forest. There, 5 monks were waiting to join him. These monks assisted him in his meditation, believing, as many did, that the only path to liberation was through harsh, punishing discipline, what in Pali we call Attakila Yoga, or in English, self-mortification. Prince Siddhartha had already left one extreme, the indulgence in sensual pleasures. But now, he entered the other extreme, denying the body, pushing it to suffering. The 5 monks believed this was the only way to awaken. For 6 years, Prince Siddhartha practiced extreme austerity. But at last, he realized this path would not free him either. Neither indulgence nor self-torture held the answer. That's when he discovered the middle path, a life of spiritual clarity, balancing the material and spiritual worlds in harmony. After realizing this, he decided to nourish his body. For the first time in years, he accepted alms and ate food. The 5 monks, who had so much faith in him, saw him eating and became disheartened. They said, "We trusted him. We believed he was different. But now look, he's eating. Soon he'll return to the palace and abandon the spiritual path." Disappointed, they left him. Alone again, Prince Siddhartha walked back to the forest. This time, no one was there. But that loneliness became his opportunity. In that sacred quiet, he found the perfect space to turn inward. Without any distractions, he sat under the Bodhi tree and awakened. In that moment of deep solitude, he became the Buddha. So you see, solitude, when used wisely, can be your greatest blessing. But if neglected or misunderstood, it can poison the mind. Many people complain about feeling lonely. I always say this: your thoughts are energy. When you're alone, that energy has nowhere to go, and it intensifies. If your thinking is negative, it builds up more negativity. Science tells us, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. You already have energy within you, but if it's negative, it must be redirected. The only way to handle negative energy is to transform it into something positive. And here's the key. One major reason people feel lonely is because they lack a goal. If you don't have an aim, something to work toward, your energy stagnates. But if you have a system, a vision, a meaningful direction, whether it's material or spiritual, you no longer feel alone. You feel aligned. You feel engaged. You may have a career goal or a family dream, but every person, regardless of background or profession, must also cultivate spiritual goals. Why? Because a time will come when you'll be truly alone. It might be a moment of illness, grief, or transition. And when that time comes, if you haven't built inner strength, loneliness will overwhelm you. It's never too late to begin. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to become? What habits should I break? What qualities should I develop? What weaknesses can I heal? We all have something to improve. If you work on your flaws now, time becomes your ally. Your effort today becomes your peace tomorrow. But to do that, you need one powerful ingredient: time. And the best time to focus on yourself is when you are alone. That's why I always recommend setting aside a portion of the day just for you. Call it me time if you like. It doesn't matter what name you give it. What matters is that it's sacred. Even 15 minutes is enough. Sit quietly. No phones, no entertainment, no distractions. Just you and your breath. Just you and your thoughts. Learn to sit with yourself. Learn to befriend your own presence. Only then will you begin to hear the quiet wisdom within. So I hope this reflection helps you understand how to turn loneliness into sacred solitude. Try it for yourself. Live it, and taste the peace that arises from being alone, yet never empty. Namo Buddhaya.